What's up everyone, and welcome to the Joel Arsenault YouTube channel. Thanks for hanging out with me here. As you can see, I am in fact still alive. I do plan on making more jet ski content, worry not. As some of you know, I have a second channel called Lowered Expectations, link in the description below, and I've been spending most of my time over there. Back in December, I bought myself a diesel heater from a company called VEVOR, and the idea was that I would be able to heat my shop with waste motor oil, and that would allow me to spend a lot more time out here working on jet skis. Well, what that turned into was a 29 series of videos where I was trying to burn waste motor oil because it's not nearly as easy as a whole bunch of people made it sound. But we're not here to talk about diesel heaters. What we're here to talk about is the fact that the company that I bought the heater from saw my videos, asked me if I wanted to work with them. I said yes, and they gave me an affiliate link. That means that I get a small kickback if people buy that heater. They liked the videos that I made on the heater, and so now they've sent me an ultrasonic cleaner, which I also have an affiliate link for. Link in the description below. If you purchase one of those ultrasonic cleaners, it helps me out as I get a small kickback. Also, there is a discount code in the description below for 5% off. All of that stuff down there. The other YouTube channel, the Patreon link, the links to not the diesel heater. I've wanted an ultrasonic cleaner for quite some time now, and I've just never pulled the trigger on it, so a huge thanks to VEVOR for sending me this ultrasonic cleaner for review. I originally filmed this video for my second channel called Lowered Expectations, link in the description below, so there is another version of this video over on that channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing an in-depth look at this VEVOR 10-liter ultrasonic cleaner. I seem to have left a big mess on my table. Just give me a few minutes while I clean this up. I just have to get my VEVOR tubing and pipe bender out of the way that I use for bending tubing and pipe. Get rid of my VEVOR flex shaft rotary die grinder that I use for doing porting work. My VEVOR diesel heater is stuck right in the way. And then lastly, my VEVOR vacuum chamber and my VEVOR 2-stage vacuum pump that I use for doing vacuum infusion on carbon fiber and fiberglass. Silly of me to leave all that stuff in the way. In today's video, we are going to do an unboxing and take an in-depth look at this VEVOR 10-liter ultrasonic cleaner. I am really excited to put this thing through its paces. I have a feeling that it is going to see a whole lot of use in my garage because I have a whole lot of stuff to clean up. In today's video, we are going to put this thing through its paces by testing some household items, some jet ski parts, some transmission parts, some diesel heater parts, and an assortment of other things. Full disclosure, VEVOR has sent me this ultrasonic cleaner for review, but the reason for that quirky intro was to show you guys that I've actually been purchasing VEVOR equipment for a few years now. All of the stuff that you see here, with the exception of the ultrasonic cleaner, was purchased with my own money long before I was ever affiliated with VEVOR. Enough of that nonsense, let's finally get into this box, take a look inside, and see what's in here. I am quite excited. I have wanted one of these for quite some time. Now I own one. All right. It's quite well packaged. We have some of this foamy stuff on the top. Okay, inside here we have the owner's manual. We have a power cord, that's handy. We have what I believe is probably the drain hose. A little device for, I believe, putting small parts in. Looks like something that you would make tea with or something. And then we have the tray itself. It's like a deep fryer. Now that we have it out of the packaging, we'll spin it around and take a look at the back side. This is where the power cord goes in. This is the power switch. We've got a label here that tells us what it is and what model it is, the capacity, the power supply, all that stuff. Up here, a warning label telling us not to run it dry. Around the sides, we've got handles, which are pretty handy. And this is the drain valve. It is a regular ball valve. Around the front side, we have our control panel, which is very easy to understand. Over here, we have our temperature setting, so increase and decrease temperature, on and off. And then you have your set temperature. This is what you're trying to achieve. And then the actual temperature of the fluid inside of the chamber itself. Over here we have time up and time down, so you can set more or less time for the ultrasonic cleaning itself. It reads in minutes and seconds, and this is the power on and off button. Before we go any further with this video, I know there are at least a few people out there who are just dying to see me do this, so let's get on with it. Styrofoam block coming out. Oh, that was not very delicate. Blue plastic coming off. Ooh, that's nice. I don't think I'll be making ASMR videos anytime soon. First power up. Beep. One of the first things that you'll discover soon after getting your new VEVOR Ultrasonic Cleaner is that a whole bunch of people you know will ask you to clean stuff for them. The second thing that you will find is that your girlfriend doesn't appreciate it when you tell her you're going to clean her mouth guard in the same machine that you use for cleaning a cylinder head and a carburetor. Tell your girlfriend to relax because ultrasonic cleaners use ultrasonic sound waves that can actually pass through containers. This matters because now we have a clean glass container that will only ever contain the solution for cleaning her mouth guard and not the same solution that was used for cleaning a cylinder head or a dirty carburetor. I have this glass jar that is inside of the ultrasonic cleaner. It is coming up to temperature. I have the temperature set to 80. It is currently 48. It's a little cool in my garage, but I'm going to get this test started before it comes up to temperature. The ultrasonic sound waves themselves actually do a lot to heat up the solution inside of the ultrasonic cleaner, and so you're better off to actually get the test started instead of waiting for the temperature to come up. She didn't actually ask me to do this, but because I'm such a great guy, I'm actually going to clean the container as well. Put it in like this and make it fill with the fluid. Let's fire this up and run it through a 30-minute cycle. Now all we need to do is remove this from here, take it in the house, drain it out, and then wait for Megan to tell us what she thinks about her sparkling clean mouth guard. So, Megan, what do you think about your mouth guard now that it's been cleaned in the ultrasonic cleaner?
Oh my goodness, it's so good! I can taste the minty fresh ultrasonic waves!
I don't think that's how it works, but I'm not going to tell her. This is me on a 5-minute rant about how ultrasonic cleaners are in fact not magic and you need to use an appropriate cleaning solution. For example, you wouldn't use denture cleaning tablets to clean a cylinder head or a dirty carburetor, and you wouldn't use gasoline or pine sol or spray 9 to clean your dentures. There are also specialized cleaning solutions like CLR to remove things like calcium, lime, and rust, and we will get to that later in the video. I'm making sure to tip the carburetor around and make sure that all of the air gets out of it and pine sol gets inside of it, because it doesn't matter that it's submersed in the pine sol if it doesn't actually get inside. So we can see the bubbles coming out here. That means that the pine sol is going in. As I probably should have mentioned with the mouth guard test, it would be nice if I had a bottle that was short enough to actually put the lid on to contain the heat. But it worked really well with the mouth guard, and now we're going to try it on this. I am going to go rinse this off in some fresh water and then we'll take it apart. Before I went in the house, I found my brush and started brushing away at the paint, and it is actually removing all of the rest of the paint off of the outside of the float bowl. I don't know what Pine Sol is, but I would recommend if you have something that's painted and you don't want that paint to come off, you don't use Pine Sol on it. Not in an ultrasonic cleaner anyway. But that's good to know. I'm curious now to see what it's going to do to my cylinder head, which is up next. All I've got to say about Pine Sol and an ultrasonic cleaner is wow. I just rinsed this off in the sink after hitting it with that brush, and it looks like a brand new carburetor. I'm gonna pop the float bowl off now, but before I do that, I'm actually gonna look at the Pine Sol container to see if it says corrosive or anything like that on it. Kills 99.9% of germs and viruses, so we don't have to worry about our carburetor being infected. It does not say that it is acidic. This is fairly inexpensive. It was $11 Canadian, which is like 30 cents American. Let's pull the float bowl off. We got some water coming out. Yeah, mostly water. It does smell a little bit like Pine Sol. Our jet is completely clean. That is made out of brass. And the inside of the float bowl is sparkling. Everything in here is very clean. I'm going to blow this out with some compressed air because it is now filled with water, or has water on it, and I don't want it to corrode, so I'm going to blow it out because this is now a usable carburetor. I was just going to throw this in the garbage, but now it is good to go. Despite the apparent results that we got when cleaning this Briggs & Stratton lawnmower carburetor, I am a little bit skeptical about whether or not it cleaned out all of the orifices inside of this thing, which is what really matters. So later on in this video, we're actually going to remove the carburetor from a generator that is not working properly. We're going to clean that out and then put it back on the generator and give it a test. That will tell us what is really going on inside here. Next up, we have this cylinder head, which is off of my Crash KV997 engine, which I am rebuilding. If you want to see some videos on that, head on over to the Joel Arsenault YouTube channel. Link will be in the description below. This will probably get cleaned in a before and after situation. I'm going to get a container that this fits in halfway. So there is the head, and from the top there's not a huge difference at first glance, except that this paint is actually peeling off on this side, and quite clearly it doesn't on this side, even when I scratch it with a screwdriver. Let's see what the other side looks like. Definitely a difference there. This area is still all full of crud and grease and all sorts of carbon and stuff, and this side is quite clean. I forgot to mention earlier also that one of the problems with these heads, it's actually a three-piece head. It has the two domes and then the cap itself. So the piece that you see from this side is separate from these domes here. And currently the domes are actually stuck in place. In with the cylinder head, I'm going to put a few other Jetski parts. These are the power valve caps off of the KV997, so I'm going to drop them in there. We've got some more power valve parts. These are the power valve sliders themselves, or the guillotines. We've got the power valve boots. These are the guide pins from the KV997 power valves. I'm also going to throw in this starter bendix. This is the part that engages the starter motor with the flywheel. Another piece, I'm not even sure what you call it, but it is a cover that goes on the crankcase of the engine. All of the dirty, nasty bolts that hold the KV997 together. I'm about to turn it on, but before I do, I am actually going to throw in one more piece, and that is this piece of scrap copper that is tarnished quite badly. This isn't going to get used for anything, but I want to throw it in here and see if we get it clean, see if we get any pitting, see if it makes any difference whatsoever. So let's put this in, put the lid on, switch it on, and hit start. Half an hour has passed, the VEVOR Ultrasonic Cleaner has shut down, and I decided to pull a few parts out of here and inspect them. The starter Bendix looks extremely clean, as does this reed valve. I don't even know if I showed you guys me putting this in. Our copper plate. I'm pretty impressed by that. I didn't think that was gonna come clean at all. All right, the rubber boot that had a bunch of scum on the outside of it is now nice and clean. Now we can see the cylinder head and all the other bits that were in here. I was playing around with this while the camera was watching the pine sol drain back into the container, and I peeled off a massive chunk of paint over here. I probably should have pointed the camera in this direction. I didn't know that pine sol was a paint stripper, but apparently when you heat it in an ultrasonic cleaner, it works as a mild paint stripper. Look at that. One of the next things I'm going to clean is going to be this exhaust manifold off of the same KV997 engine. There is a crack here. I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up, but there is a crack in the manifold, so I'm going to have to grind away at that and weld it at some point. I'll probably end up running this through at least a few cycles because it is pretty nasty and I want it to be cleaned very well. I don't know what pine sol is, but it is some pretty impressive stuff. I wouldn't call this a paint stripper, but yeah, it does strip paint. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is incredible. Wow, that is something else. I've run the exhaust manifold through a few cycles. Time to pull it out and see what it looks like. Okay, that's hot. This stuff is just peeling right off. This is incredibly clean. I just hit it with the wire brush and this paint is all just coming off super easy. This was never supposed to be about removing paint from my exhaust manifold. Hopefully the camera can pick up on how extraordinarily clean this is. Keep in mind this is a 2-cycle exhaust manifold. It was very carbony and dirty. Hopefully the clips of the before show how bad this really was. It is spotless clean inside, and as you guys can see, it's even stripped off most of the paint. I put the domes off the cylinder head in here last night as well, and I don't expect them to have turned out very... oh, wow. I was gonna say, I don't expect them to turn out very good because a lot of the stuff that was on them was oxidation and whatever aluminum does with salt water, there was a bunch of that stuff built up on the outside. But wow. I'm guessing this doesn't show up well on camera because there are all different colors on here. It's gonna make it look like it's really dirty. But you can see a lot of that's just rubbing off with my fingers, and I'll show you guys in comparison. This used to look like this. All that nasty stuff that you see there was all over these domes. They sit in there like that. This pine sol is a little bit intense. Not only can I smell it, but I can taste it all the time, even when I go in the house. So I'm not sure that I would recommend this, even though it does work quite well. At some point, I also want to test Spray 9, but we'll do this first. Ooh, it's green. Ooh, that's a neat color. I like that. Probably won't look like that for very long, but I do like that. That's pretty cool. Quite interested in cleaning out this stainless steel bowl. This is one of my cat's drinking dishes, and it gets quite a bit of this buildup on the inside of it. I'm not sure if it's calcium or lime or what it is, but we're gonna pop it in there along with a few other things and see if we can get rid of that. I'm also going to put this piece of copper in to see what happens because it says not to use this with copper. I went searching and it didn't take too long to find a few more rusty and tarnished bolts, so we will add that to our collection. I was busy in the house doing some other stuff, so I actually left this unattended and didn't notice that the timer had gone off. But we're going to take a quick look at this. I will be putting this stuff in probably for several sessions, but oh wow. Okay, it completely cleaned up this bowl. I will be putting it back anyway. The rusty piece of angle iron is still a rusty piece of angle iron. I don't think that's ever going to come clean because it's basically just all rust. This piece, all of the surfacey rust stuff is gone. This dish looks completely clean. This bracket still has some rust on it. As I think I said in a previous clip, it had a lot of rust on it. It was very thick. And I want to see how many times it takes to clean it out. So far in this video, we've had great luck with the VEVOR Ultrasonic Cleaner, cleaning such things as, but not limited to, my cat's water dish that was covered in hard water scale, some Jetski power valve parts, a Jetski reed valve, Jetski starter Bendix, a Briggs & Stratton lawnmower carburetor, a bracket off of a classic Austin Mini that was very rusty and gross, a Jetski exhaust manifold that was full of carbon and it even removed the paint, a Jetski head cover, a Jetski dome, and I was going to continue on with that theme and show you guys cleaning the carburetors off of that same Jetski engine, but I've decided to do another test to show you guys just how cool and practical these things actually are. Behind me here, I've got a generator that has a fuel system problem. It has a problem with the carburetor. When I start it up, it surges. I'll start it up in just a few minutes and show you guys. I'm actually going to remove the carburetor off this. I'm not going to take it apart. We're going to pop it in the ultrasonic cleaner, and I'm going to clean the carburetor without ever taking it apart. I will now demonstrate to you guys the problem that this generator is having, just so that we have a before and after. This is what it's currently doing. It starts up, but it doesn't sound great. Okay, it started up, ran for a couple seconds, and shut off. And now, with the magic of movie editing, I have the carburetor removed from the generator. It was a bit of a task. These things are pretty tight inside, but I did get it off. I'm currently using calcium, lime, and rust remover inside of the ultrasonic cleaner to clean another part. We're going to be able to clean both parts at the same time because the ultrasonic sound waves are going to go right through the container, clean this, and clean my other part at the same time. It has been half an hour. I am honestly nervous about this. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not, but we're going to give it a go. I'm actually going to drain the float bowl into this white lid here just so that we can see if any kind of sediment or anything comes out. I am quite curious. I don't really see anything. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I'm kind of nervous about putting this back together without taking it apart. It's a substantial amount of work to put this on, and I don't want to have to take it back off again. But for the sake of this experiment, I'm going to do it anyway. I've now got the carburetor reinstalled. I didn't put the side back on just in case I have to take it apart again, or in case I have to try to bleed the fuel through the system. This is going to take at least a few pulls to get it going because there's no fuel in the carburetor whatsoever and it has to pump through. This is not a gravity feed system. So I'm going to give it some pulls. I've got the choke on full and we'll see what happens here. Oh! It must have just burnt up what was in the carb. I'm gonna be honest, I did not expect that to work. That's why I didn't put the side cover back on, but it's working. All right, give it a pull. Turn the choke off. Green light is on. Picking out some heat. Peeking up. It's working. That is the first time in my life, first time in 28 years of being a mechanic, I cleaned a carburetor without ever taking the carburetor apart. My mind is blown. Well, there you have it, folks. The VEVOR Ultrasonic Cleaner, a must-have tool for the workshop and a great tool to have for any home. These things are great for cleaning jewelry, coins, silverware, your cat's water dishes that get lime and calcium buildup on them, and all sorts of other things. Of course, we are most interested in Jetski parts here, but they are good for just about everything. With all that great stuff being said, there are a few things that I wasn't terribly happy about, so I'm going to talk about those things right now. Before I tear into criticizing my VEVOR 10-liter ultrasonic cleaner, first let me start by saying that I would absolutely still purchase one of these, and I can highly recommend purchasing one for yourself. I would just want to know all of this information before spending my hard-earned money so that I made an informed decision. My first gripe about the VEVOR 10-liter ultrasonic cleaner is that it is in fact not a 10-liter cleaner. The website says that it is a 10-liter and also a 9.3-liter, which means that they obviously have some sort of problems with their measuring system. In practical terms, this cleaner is actually more like a 6-liter cleaner. It takes a little bit over 6 liters to fill it up to the full line. That is how I would measure my cleaner. This just in, I did a little bit of research on the VEVOR website, took some measurements of the tank, did a little bit of math, and it turns out that VEVOR uses the inside dimensions of the tank instead of the fluid volume to the full line to give you the volume. The tank is 32 by 26 by 15 centimeters approximately, giving us a volume of 9.3 liters. Still not 10, but 9.3. If I were to purchase a VEVOR Ultrasonic Cleaner, I think I would go with a 20-liter unit. That is a good compromise of not being too large, but still allow me to clean things like an entire cylinder without having to do it in 3 or 5 goes. My next gripe about the VEVOR Ultrasonic Cleaner is that the supplied fitting that came for the drain actually didn't fit. The ball valve on the drain is actually a 1/2-inch NTP, and I'm not sure what this is, but when I threaded it in, it seemed a little bit loose, and when I tried to tighten it even by finger, it just kind of stripped out. It didn't actually damage the threads on this, and of course it didn't damage the ball valve, but I ended up using a different fitting that I already had laying around. The next thing that didn't affect me too much, but might affect you, is that the VEVOR 10-liter ultrasonic cleaner comes with a 200-watt heater element. I am in a heated garage. I keep it at about 14 degrees Celsius, and I always made sure to use hot tap water in the cleaning solution. If you plan on using cold tap water, or you're going to keep your VEVOR ultrasonic cleaner in a unheated garage over the winter, 200 watts may not be enough to heat up your cleaning solution in a reasonable amount of time. Earlier in the video, I mentioned that it's a good idea to actually start the cleaning process because the cleaning process actually puts heat into the water despite the heating element. While VEVOR does offer some uprated ultrasonic cleaners with higher wattage heating elements, if you think you're going to raise the temperature of your 10 liters of water from 8 degrees Celsius to 80 degrees Celsius in like 10 minutes, you need to lower your expectations. As I said, I didn't have any problems with mine, but I am in a heated garage and I keep it around 14 degrees Celsius. If you don't need an ultrasonic cleaner, then you shouldn't buy one. But if you think you could make a good home for one of these things and get some use out of it, then I have an affiliate link in the description below. If you use that link, it helps me out as I get a small kickback, and it helps you out because there is a discount code down there for 5% off. A big thanks to everyone who's been sticking with my channel here despite me not making any videos. If you like this video, remember to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see Jetski content at some point, then subscribe. If you want to see me struggling to make a heater burn waste motor oil, then head on over to my other channel, Lowered Expectations, and check that out. You might find the videos amusing even if you're not interested in diesel heaters. That is going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.